Welcome to the Early Wedge Tuesday Best Bet Show. I'm your host, Eric Cohen. On last week's show, I all but guaranteed that we were going to have a big week on this show, and two of our panelists delivered. I mean, are we surprised? Not at all. Let's bring them in, and let's celebrate Austin Smotherman, 110-1. Jason Sobel, you had it. Sia Nejad, you had it. Patrick, you had Cam Davis at 250-1. He didn't get there. Nonetheless, Sobel, we're going to start with you because also in your BetMGM column, you gave out Nico Echeverria.
Yeah, it was a good week. Hello, guys. Good to be with everybody. I'm going to apologize right off the top. My internet's a little laggy. It started doing a Shane Lowry right now. It got me all the way there.
Too soon.
That's right there.
And he cut out right there.
That's incredible.
And now it's making double bow. I'm sorry. Sorry, Shane. He's probably watching right now. Yeah, it was a good week. It was a really good week. Echeverria. We had Lowry for a top 10 in the preview that we wrote. And yeah, of course, Smotherman. So yeah, it was a nice week. We'll try to keep going this week.
Sia, take your victory lap. You have been awesome with FRLs. There's nobody that I know who's better. And look at this one, 110-1. Congrats.
What a cool graphic. Yeah, you know what's cool is when we were filling in our picks last week, I didn't expect anybody else to have Austin Smotherman, and I got to give Jason his flowers because he was the first one to put him in there in our little show sheet. And I texted him right away and I said, Jason, there's no way both of us are on Austin Smotherman. This is awesome. And then next thing you know, I'm texting him saying, hey, you think this is going to hold when he gets to 9 under? It was really cool. I will say I've hit 3 of the first 7 tournaments. I've hit 3 first-round leaders. However, the first 2 were shares. Like one of them was a Rory share. One of them was a Pearson Cootie two-way split. This one felt really good because Jason and I and all of the followers of the Early Wedge didn't have to share it with anyone.
Patrick, a few people in the chat are wondering if Shane Lowry is going on the no-bet list. That means they haven't been paying attention. Shane Lowry, the no-bet list should be named after Shane Lowry. What did you make of that debacle on Sunday afternoon?
Might have to be dubbed the Lowry list now.
I thought about it.
Yeah. I think it could be worthy. What did I make of it? I felt like it was coming. I felt like everyone felt something was coming the entire final round. And then when he started just hooping everything on the greens and his drive on, 14 or 15 bounced out of the bunker into the rough and he made birdie from there. It's like, okay, maybe it's just this guy's day, right? Maybe he cruises to the finish line. And then the tee shot on 16 is inexplicable. The only ball in the water off the tee over the weekend. There's plenty of room left there. You hit in that fairway bunker. Okay. You still make bogey. And then once he did that on 16, I felt like, okay, something ugly is going to happen on 17 now too, because the wheels are officially wobbling and they fell off there. It was shocking. Even for Lowry, I put it out there, even for Shane Lowry standards trying to close the tournament, it was bad. So it's going to be tough for him to recover. I will say the last time he held a 54-hole lead at the Cognizant Classic and lost in 2024, he came back the next week and held the 54-hole lead at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Very different circumstances, obviously, but just throwing that out there.
And that's why some of us will be betting Shane Lowry in certain capacities this week. Find out later in the show. But I want to show this ticket that I had early last week. You guys wonder about my parlays and what I come up with. Producer Matt put this together. Sia, wait, you haven't seen this yet. Patrick and Sobel have seen it. Wait till you see this gem.
No.
I had Nico. I had the Buse Tirante 3 sets, Magda Lynette in tennis, and Katie McNally, the American at -158. That would have paid 292-1.
No.
And I had enough to win me, a nice, not Jacob Bridgman level for you that 1 week, but it would have been nice. So when you guys wonder if my parlays are for real, yes, they are. That's how it's done.
Was that a straight sets loss? I was trying to catch up. How did you? Oh, man.
She got smoked in the first set and lost in the tiebreaker in the second.
What tournament?
How close was the tiebreak?
I have no idea what tournament that was. I have no idea.
Great.
I couldn't tell you. I just thought this is how. Listen, Sia, you always talk about one thing, and this is a good education.
Wow.
You always talk about getting outrights in early because you want to get the best numbers. Now, I got greedy, but that's what I tried to do with these tennis bets.
Well, I will say, because I know we're going to go to storylines, and I didn't really have one today. I know you three do, but I do want to emphasize that point. Like, we're going to talk about Puerto Rico later. Obviously, this is going to be focused on the API. We're going to talk about Puerto Rico, but as it pertains to any event like Sunday night, Monday, we don't have all the information because weather can be a problem. We might have wave advantages that we don't know about on a Monday, for example, but some of these numbers like truly go away, especially like at the Cognizant Classic where a bunch of people bailed on the tournament. If you got the numbers in, Monday morning, Sunday night, just like Puerto Rico, Monday morning, Sunday night, those numbers don't get completely slammed. So it's just something to consider when you're betting golf is to lock in at least some of not all your outrights, but some of your outrights a little earlier, especially if you think they're going to drop.
That's a great tip. Now, Sobel, we're gonna start with you in storylines. Go ahead. Yeah. Go. I know you want to touch on it. Yeah. Nope. Well, Sobel's internet is.
I'm just speaking of it's not good right now. Sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Shout out to Michael in the chat who said, PSA for your viewers, new to Hard Rock Bet, which is the only betting place in town here in Florida. You can now parlay finishing positions. Could never do it before. I can confirm you couldn't do it before. I did not know that, but Michael's going to have me having a very busy Tuesday and Wednesday night because that sounds like it's a big upgrade from what we had before.
And by the way, just another thing for those of you in other states, Fanatics added top finishing positions with ties, which they never had before this week. So that's something a little bit different for those of you who are not in Florida and like to use that book. All right, let's go to storylines. Sobel, we'll start with you. We kind of, it's got a mini major field. What do we have? 72, 80 players in the field, something like that. There is a cut. What is it? Top 50 in ties, I believe it is. Yep. You kind of feel like we're going to see the cream rise to the top.
Yeah, so top 50 in ties with the 10-shot rule, just as we saw at Riv a few weeks ago. And look, I was out there today. Golf course is looking exactly like what you would think the golf course would be looking like. It's what we see every single year. We're expecting, club to 2-club win throughout the week. It's going to be hot. The greens are going to get baked. They're green right now. The greens might be brown.
Yeah,
Brown, maybe even purple by sun, closer to 5 under like we saw in 22 than 15 under like we saw 2 years ago. And hopefully it plays like a mini major championship. And like I said, I think the cream's going to rise on the top of the leaderboard. And you will see when we get to the picks that I am not venturing too far from that top of the board.
I cannot believe what you did. Just a spoiler alert. I cannot believe what you did in picks. I get it. I still can't believe you did it. Now, a guy that would never do. A guy that will never do.
I haven't looked.
You did in picks.
I'm excited.
I won't either. Yeah.
Yeah, just wait. Well, we know who you already picked, Patrick, and I'll get to my storyline in a second. But you expect the kind of the same thing that Sobel does. Guys rise to the top here. You expect kind of a duel, don't you?
Here's my thing. We've been sold a bill of goods about these signature events. Obviously, they're a way to put money in the pockets of the best players on the PGA Tour, make sure they stay on the PGA Tour. But we've been sold a bill of goods that the best players in the world are going to compete against each other down the stretch in tournaments in these signature events. And honestly, guys, has it really happened? The last time we saw Rory McIlroy go against Scottie Scheffler in the final round was the 2022 Tour Championship when Scottie Scheffler blew a 6-stroke lead that final round. You look at who Scheffler has beaten in all his wins these past handful of years. It's been like Ben Griffin twice, Bobby McIntyre, a handful of other guys I'm just forgetting off the top of my head right now. Even it was like J.J. Spahn and Justin Rose at the St. Jude Championship. The Tour Championship was Tommy Fleetwood and Patrick Cantlay. Like, can we get two guys from inside the top 5 in the world right now to go head-to-head against each other? I feel like that is something that has not happened in a while. And I think we're due. And like Jason said, given the conditions that he pointed out, I think this week will be conducive for that.
All right. Excellent point. Now, my storyline, I was struggling to come up with one, so I'll keep it simple. Is this the week Patrick finally fades Xander Schauffele? That's
No. We're back, baby.
Patrick.
We are trending.
4 trips here. No top 20s.
He almost was first-round leader at Riviera.
He okay.
It was like a stroke off it.
Did you interview him last week when you did the TGL?
No, I didn't talk. I was kind of just there as a civilian for the most part.
All right.
Yeah.
I put this storyline in. It was the first thing I put in my sheet on Monday morning. I looked at your picks today and I just said, just shaking my head. So the answer to the question that I asked, no, Patrick is not fading Xander Schauffele.
Playing good golf. He might win. He might win next week, honestly.
He's not winning this week.
Great record at TPC Sawgrass.
So there's a lot going on for FRLs, and Sia's got, I mean, this is a record of FRLs on this show. He's dropping 9 of them in this segment. Sia, the floor is yours. You just hit one at 110 to 1. Have at it.
Well, it's across 2 different tournaments, of course.
Okay.
We've got, is it a full field in Puerto Rico? I mean, it's certainly not a 72-person field.
Yeah.
So I've got 5 there. I've got 4 for the API. I'll start with the API. I got Morikawa. Like, I really like Colin Morikawa this week. You're going to find that out throughout the duration of this show. I don't love this number for a first-round leader, but like Jason alluded to, I'm really focused on some of the higher end guys, even in the first round leader market. These next 2, Harris English, I think is a great course fit, has some good experience here. He's 40 to 1. Min Woo Lee at 45 to 1. His range is anywhere between like 38 and 45. I think he's really interesting because the betting market has loved him for like the last 3 weeks. And I'm finally trying to like get on board at least a little bit, maybe in DFS, maybe in the first round leader market. His history here is terrible, but I think Min Woo Lee has kind of figured out how to navigate courses like this and not be so sloppy off the tee. We've seen evidence of that over the last few weeks. I think 45 to 1 is really interesting. Ryan Fox is really a dart. There was somebody in our SportsLine Discord that recommended Ryan Fox. I think 64 to 1 is a deep enough number to sprinkle on this one. It's not my favorite play, but the number was attractive to me. So Morikawa, English, Min Woo Lee are kind of my favorites, and then a little sprinkle on Ryan Fox.
All right, we'll come back to you for Puerto Rico after we go through these. Patrick, really? I mean, I thought we just
This was tough for me. This was honestly tough for me. I thought about Rory McIlroy, single bullet this, which I feel like Rory at Bay Hill, he has like a 64 in him once every year. I might just be making that up, but I feel like Rory McIlroy always posts a low round at Bay Hill. So I'm kind of talking myself out of this, but I went against my better judgment, which truthfully, my judgment this year has not been great. So I don't know what that means for these first round leaders. Xander Schauffele, 33 to 1. He's trending. He found something in his game. I like the way he's taken his club back a little bit more outside than at the beginning of the year. Thought he got a little too inside, and we saw some struggles on the full swing. And then Ricky Fowler, 45 to 1. Quietly playing some just like not exceptional, but close to exceptional golf. And with Fowler, it all stems from the driver and putting the ball in the fairway. He's driving the ball great so far this year. Really goes back to last year. And so I think he's in for a very good week. I know both these guys don't have maybe the course history that people would like, but for one round, and spoiler alert, the tournament, I'm going to risk it.
All right. Fair enough. Sobel. I mean, this guy, Scottie Scheffler, we know he's the best player in the world. He has stunk in the first round of his last 3 tournaments, and you're going to bet him at 11 to 1 to be the FRL.
There's a term you see in the betting industry, which I think
He's due.
is hilarious. Regression, which is a complete, like I said, oxymoron, because positive means going forward. Regression means going back. All of that said, we know Scottie has not been good on Thursdays over his last 3 starts. We also know that Scottie is the best player in the world. He's led the PGA Tour in scoring average in the first round over the last 3 seasons. And oh, by the way, there should be a regression to the mean coming. He plays this golf course really well. Scottie has often said, much like Tiger Woods, that he's just trying to throw jabs in the first round. You can't win it on Thursday. You can only lose it, all those cliches. I think Scottie's going to go out there motivated to show to himself, maybe to prove to others that he can get it done in the first round. Sorry, guys. Internet is terrible. Trust me, it's more frustrating for me than for any of you guys watching. And then I'll go with Ricky Fowler. If you can still hear me, I was watching Ricky on the range for a while today. Maybe putting a hybrid in the bag for the first time in his Cobra guy, Ben Showman, told me about 15 years, looking to get one up high. He was hitting it really well on the range, hitting it for a while today. But as Patrick said, Ricky's playing some really nice golf. Doesn't have a great record here, but I do like him for a single round investment.
All right, fair enough. I'm going to not try to take on the experts here. I'm just playing top 10 finishes in round 1. We made a little bit of money at Riviera. Let's take a shot here with Matt Fitzpatrick at plus 300, Chris Goddard at plus 415, and Jordan Spieth at plus 435. I know Patrick is proud in that last one. So Matt Fitzpatrick's finished in the top 14 in his last 3 events in the first round, and he led here after round 1, co-lead with Emiliano Grillo in 2017. Chris Gotterup has been a first-round machine here. 3 top 4s in 5 2026 events. Say that 5 times fast. Nonetheless, Gotterup, we know he has 2 wins, but he's also great in the first round. And then Jordan Spieth, just for you, Patrick, a 69 scoring average in 3 trips here and 1 first-round lead at plus 435. I think we have a number. Not a guy that I will ever bet for the tournament because he is on the no-bet list. But for the first round, you bet. You with me? You with me? No, it's not the week. No,
it's Valspar week. He's going to win.
But there is a Jordan Spieth, like, getting hot time is like right around the corner when he goes to the Masters, obviously. Yeah. I think he's really good in San Antonio. And then in South Carolina at the RBC Heritage, he's really good.
Yeah, Spieth season.
Yeah, Spieth season.
Get ready.
All right, Sia. It's Sia season on to Puerto Rico. Sia, you nailed this tournament last year. I think you had Phillips, right?
Yeah, so did Sobel. So Jason and I had Carl Phillips last year at Puerto Rico at 70-1, and we both happened to have Austin Smotherman last week at 110-1. So I feel like the vibes are pretty good for this time of year.
Who do you guys both like this week?
We'll find out later in the show. There's your spoiler alert. All right, go ahead, Sia.
Yeah, I'm going to give out outrights for this tournament. I kind of leaked some out on Twitter in the SportsLine Discord a couple of days ago. But ADDC, otherwise known as Adrian Dumont de Chassart, 43-1. You can see a theme here, by the way, everybody. Matty Schmid, 45-1. David Ford, 51-1. Isaiah Salinda, kind of off everybody's radar, but actually I think he could pop here, 75-1. And then I might get this pronunciation wrong. Pontus Nyom. Is that how we pronounce? Okay. At 90-1, it's 80 in some places. I'm really, in the case of Naum, I'm just chasing last week to some degree. Obviously, we know he can pop. The other 4 are guys that hit it a pretty long way and are birdie makers, are guys that create opportunities, and guys in large part that are in pretty good form. So I think, at least with a few of these names, these guys can outright win this tournament. But can they go low for 18? I think all of these guys can.
I really thought that Pontus Nyom was a hockey player when I saw him on the leaderboard. There's another guy, David. You go ahead, Sobel. Yeah.
Going into last week, Pontus Nyholm was in almost every statistical category the worst player on the PGA Tour, and I don't know about the.
It'll catch up,
man. The professional teases are elite.
Maybe means nothing.
All right. Yeah. Well, nonetheless, we're not. Listen, you want to take a shot with Pontus? Sia, I won't doubt you ever when it comes to FRLs. I mean, Pontus is a price 90-1. That's nothing for you and Sobel at 110-1 with Smotherman. All right.
He has a very commanding presence too. His middle name's Pilot, by the way. You see,
Pontus. Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
I never know what's. Oh, well, there you go. Learn something new every day on the early wedge. Coming up next. Sia and I made a lot of money off this bet in the matchup section last year, and it's time to go back to it. But first, let's hear from one of our sponsors.
Mm-hmm. This is why we do this every March.
Major slam!
It is a basketball party.
It's March! Expect the unexpected!
Oh, I love the March Madness promo because it tees it up. See, you see why I'm wearing this shirt today? If you're watching the YouTube feed, see why? This is the University of Arizona shirt. Go ahead, Patrick. Why would I wear this today?
Well, here's a question for my bracketologist here.
Mm-hmm. No.
I looked at a sheet from one Joe Lunardi,
yeah.
ESPN rival.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He has Virginia Tech first 4 out. What do you guys think about that? What if we beat UVA this weekend?
You have a shot.
Okay.
You're not getting.
Are they hosting that game?
Couldn't tell you. See, my Virginia Tech basketball fandom is. I saw a highlight of that Greek guy we had, who everyone was comparing to Luka the first month of the season. And I figured, holy crap, we're about to win the ACC. We're about to run the table. And then I fired up a group chat the other day, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to make the tournament. I'm like, what the hell happened these last 3 months?
You got Boston College at home tonight and then at Virginia on Saturday. I doubt it. The Big 12 champions outright, the Arizona Wildcats. I just want to point this out. Every time I bring them up, what do you say about Arizona?
They're soft.
Yes.
Coach Tommy Lloyd last night, this is a direct quote. The narrative that we were soft is lazy. If you want to be lazy and not pay attention and say we're soft because you're on the East Coast, be lazy, because they're on the West Coast, be lazy, and I would love to play against you.
Wait, it's because they're on the West Coast? People are saying that?
See ya.
Well, I don't think it's because they're on the West Coast. It's because they're soft.
Not on any coast at all, by the way.
We're close to the West. I know this is a golf show
in Arizona,
but when the coach brings up soft, he must be watching Early Edge. So thank you, Tommy Lloyd, for paying attention to Sia.
And it's getting to him too, which honestly
he does hate podcasts. Yeah.
means Sia's right if it's getting to him.
I mean, he's just acknowledging the elephant in the room. And oh, by the way, if Iowa State could make like a single shot last night, that game would have been way more competitive. That's like the worst shooting team I've ever seen in my life. They got.
I know I went against M squared last night on the site, but I gave out the under. I had a feeling it would be ugly. I didn't think it'd be that ugly, but it was bad. All right, let's go back to golf.
Just real quick, I will add to the bracketology conversation. Joe Lunardi plays for about 15 handicap, not long off the tee, decent short game. Don't play him for money.
Hates Arizona for reasons many years ago. So have you beaten him, Sobel, or did he take your money? No.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah. Repeat that again. Sorry, we missed that.
We played the same tournament a few times, so around each other, near each other.
Okay, I have one last question.
Yeah.
This Miami team, Ohio, shout out to Big Ben. They don't win their conference. Are they in?
Yes.
Their conference tournament. Yeah, they're in.
I think they'll get in because of like how loud this conversation has been. I think they end up getting in.
It's a disgrace if you go undefeated in the regular season. I don't care what conference you're in and don't make the tournament.
Okay.
Simple as that. All right.
I think that's fair.
What about their WOB though? You're considering that at all?
That I can't help you with. All right, let's dial it back to golf, and we'll start with Patrick. We'll start with you, guy that won here a couple years ago, Kurt Kitayama. A lot of people like him this week. I mean, it was one of the more surprising winners, and you're playing him over your boy Ludwig.
Yeah, I think the wrong person's favorite in this match, or I think it's moved. Let's see.
Yeah. I mean,
Kitayama, I expect it to be like a heavy favorite. This is moved to -110 on FanDuel. Ludwig -120. I think that's just wrong. Like Kitayama played great at Riviera. He obviously has played great here, winning this tournament a couple of years ago. Just a tee to green monster.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I want this week, honestly. And the kicker with Kitayama is he's fantastic from over 200 yards. Really good long iron player. Ludwig, I just don't know what's going on with him. I really don't. He talked about how he's still got a little bit of a gut issue and he's getting some tests done. He said that at Riviera. So I'm going to take the wait and see approach on him, just as I'm going to take the wait and see approach on Justin Thomas. I'm getting Chris Goddard, a two-time winner, a first-round monster, like you said, EC, -125 over Justin Thomas, who looked a little rusty, I would say, in his TGL debut, his first competitive reps in quite a while. So I'm going to take Goddard up. I know it's his debut. I think he finished second to last in the Seminole Pro-Am or Pro Member, which isn't great. Shot 76 or something. But I think some rest was good for him after that West Coast swing. And I think he's a great fit at this golf course too. So I'll take him at -125 over JT, who's coming back from injury.
All right. I think that's a great value, even though he's never played here before. Now, Sobel, Shane Lowry he plays really good golf here. He played really good golf for, 69 of 72 holes, maybe 70 of 72 holes last week, and you're fading him against Victor Hovland?
I don't know if Shane Lowry plays really good golf here. He started his career with 4 top 10 the last 2 years. So I don't know, maybe just had a couple of good weeks here the last couple of years. Maybe he's figured it out. I don't know, but I really like Victor Hovland this week. It's a long iron kind of golf course, and Victor's as good at that part of the game as anybody. So I'll take Hovland over Lowry, still with some monkeys all over his back. And then really like Harris English on a tough golf course, plays like a mini US Open. I love Pearson Coody. You guys know that. I talk about him almost every week on the show, but experience matters here. Harris English has it. He's played well here. He was runner-up a few years ago. I'll take English over Coody this week. And by the way, what Patrick mentioned right there, the Seminole Pro member, who might play well and who might not this week.
Yeah, does that matter? Like, do you care if Rory finished second in that? I mean, do you care?
He won.
He won? Oh, Rory won? Oh, I thought.
Yeah, you know who finished second?
Who's that?
Ricky Fowler. You know who shot 79? Kevin Kisner.
82. Kisner said he shot 82 on his own ball.
There you go.
Can I just say this? That The Tiger Woods Jupiter team in TGL is at such a disadvantage. Like that Tom Kim, who hasn't been good in years, Kevin Kisner, who isn't good, Max Homa, who really hasn't been great in a while, and Tiger, who can't swing a club. I mean, what's going on? That's not even fair to have them in the league. They need to do some like an expansion draft or something.
I will say, in all seriousness, on TGL, if you guys can find odds on LA, I don't know what the odds are for TGL. I haven't looked at it. LA is going to win this thing, and it might not be close. They are by far. They've got 3 of the best ball strikers in the entire world on that roster.
Let's check it out. What can we get?
Patrick, you had your first TGL loss last week.
Oh, it was a shellacking too. I almost fell asleep in the crowd. I mean, they put me to sleep. They put me in the sleeper hold early and often. That was tough.
Well, all right. So Sia, while Patrick looks over TGL odds, you have Matt Fitzpatrick, who's going to be a very popular player this week. Good course history. Obviously, striping the ball pretty well. These are pretty good odds over Hideki, who's on my no playlist.
Yeah, there were a couple of Fitzpatrick ones I was considering. One was actually Fitzpatrick over Siwoo Kim, but Siwoo Kim's ball striking, his tee to green is really good. So I'm looking at Hideki, who can really get himself into trouble off the tee. And like you said, doesn't have the history that at least not the recent history here, that Matt Fitzpatrick does. And you look at the recent form, Hideki's been okay. But Fitzpatrick, outside of some like major putting woes, and this is a different green that he's going to be on versus the West Coast, I think a lot of people think Matt Fitzpatrick can win. I don't think Hideki's really in that conversation this week. So I'll lay the -125 there. The other one is going to be Puerto Rico. I'm going with Matty Schmid -108 over SH Kim. I feel like Schmid shouldn't be an underdog here. I mean, SH Kim, like I did mention for the first round leaders, I was looking for guys that bomb it. Schmid's not exactly a bomber. SH Kim certainly hits it further than he does, but other than that, I really like how Matty Schmid's game's trending. It's not like SH Kim has great experience here either. Schmid does. He has great experience. He's coming in with better form. I don't know why this is -108, but I'll take it.
So a site I look at on X is Golf Tips Checker. They track who makes picks on X and around the internet. Matty Schmid is the most tipped player in Puerto Rico.
Dang.
Which is surprising. And the most tipped player who I bet you guys wouldn't be able to guess for the Arnold Palmer is a guy that I'm giving out as an outright. So you'll have to wait. Just think about that. Yeah, I was shocked by it. All right, see, we made. It is not Matt Fitzpatrick. He's on the no bet list. Yeah, it's on the no bet list.
I
forgot. We made money on this one last year, so let's go back to it. There's only 3 of them in the field. Top Canadian Corey Connors +150 has to beat Nick Taylor and Taylor Pendrith. So Connors has not been very good. His current form kind of stinks, but he has 2 solo thirds here and nothing lower than a T21 since 2020. It's been pretty good. Pendrith is 1 for 3 making the cut here, and Taylor has only one top 20 in 8 appearances. So kind of like that top Japanese bet that I made last week, which I hit after 2 rounds. Pretty easy when one guy quit and the other guy wasn't very good. So, I'll take that. Nakajima dropped out. He quit after the first round. And then the other guy that Sia bet on for his round one.
It was a round 1 3 ball. It was plus 270, but it didn't work out.
Hirata. Well, he was okay in the first round. The second round, he stunk. And then I hit Kanaya. So we're going to try this again. Best of 3 at +150. I love the odds here for Corey Connors with that course history. So we're going to take a shot. All right, let's move on to matchups. I just want to say this while you're looking at the screen. Yes, Shane Lowry is on the no bet list. We talked about that earlier. Shane Lowry will always be on the no bet list, but you can play him in other areas, and I'll talk about that later. But first, we'll start with Patrick. Patrick, I saw a clip today that Ryan Gerard can't find a putter that he likes. So you're going to still play him in a top 20 at +180.
Okay, I mean that's not a bad thing necessarily, right? He's just cycling through, trying to figure out what's comfortable for him. I don't think he's going to need the putter this week with how well he's hitting the golf ball. He's 6th in approach over the last handful of months in this field, and that's what it's going to take at API. First start for him here, which is always a bit suspect, but small field, 72 players, top 20, +180, almost 2-1 for the way this guy's striking the golf ball, and it's something I'm going to get behind. And then Nikolai Højgaard, another young player who's playing some awesome golf. 2 trips here, 2 missed cuts, but still super young. I've followed him a little bit. The way he's driving the golf ball is just super impressive right now. And so top 20 at +175 is something I like too.
I will be talking about Nikolai Højgaard a little bit more in the next segment because I am a big fan. He's going to win soon. I will say that. He is going to win soon.
Yeah.
Sobel, Tommy Fleetwood. I mean, this guy's a top 10 machine. Obviously, I agree with you. So explain why we're betting Tommy in the top 10.
Yeah, so look, Tommy finishes top 10 every week. I'm going to bet him in the top 10. How's that for an explanation for you? You see, I don't think I need to go very further. It's a U.S. Open type of course. He plays well here. I've always thought, even before Tommy won the Tour Championship last year, that this would be a place where he could get a victory. I'm not betting him outright this week only because I'm going even shorter. There's the tease for you that everyone's looking for. But yeah, Tommy's going to be up there at the end. He always is. Then Ludwig for a top 20 this week at plus money, trending in the right direction. I know Pat issues that he's dealing with. I just want to get on Ludwig before that price gets shorter, before he starts figuring things out a little bit more. But I think he's on the right path to getting back to where he needs to be.
Patrick, didn't Ludwig do this last year? And then at the Masters, he kind of fixed his game and kind of turned it. Well, no, I guess he won last year at the Genesis.
He threw up on himself again at the Masters. That was on the 72nd hole, though. EC.
Okay, fair enough. Sia, Matt Fitzpatrick, Colin Morikawa. Two guys that are on the no bet list, but you know what? They're playing good golf, and that's no bet for outrights, but Morikawa already has the X through him. Talk about these guys.
Yeah, and we talked about Matt Fitzpatrick when we did our first show. I mean, I said that Matt Fitzpatrick was going to win twice this year, and I think this week could be one of those weeks. I do realize he's a popular pick. We can talk about him in the one and done context a little bit later on in the show, but I think one of these guys being in the top 10 is extremely realistic. And I think both of these guys being inside the top 10 is very realistic as well. Love their history here. Love their course fit. Love that they're going to pretty much stay out of trouble off the tee, and that their approach game and their long iron play in particular is really good. And we've seen Colin kind of reverse course when it comes to the putter a little bit. We've seen him close tournaments. So I think the confidence is there for him. And Matt Fitzpatrick, honestly, if it wasn't, his putter was so bad last time out that it was like truly hard to watch. But again, we're on Bermuda now. It's going to be a little different, and I think Matt Fitzpatrick is really going to shine. So if you hit one of these, you're in pretty good shape, but I think we can hit both.
Hey, Mike Miller in the chat, you say Tommy Fleetwood is plus 172 in top 10. We're playing with ties, and I think that's really important when you make these bets. You never want to get the dead heat rules because that is painful, especially when you make parlays, as I've found out in the past. So always look for ties. Very important. So that's why Tommy Fleetwood for me is plus 150. You can shop around. Sobel got it at plus 140 on BetMGM. Mine is DK. So I shop for that number. I'm going back to Lowry, guys. I hit him top 5, top 10 last week. We're going to, and he made me some good money despite his major choke. But listen, his irons have been excellent. He's gained in 9 straight events since October. He's 3rd and 7th here the last 2 years. And I think he has the mental fortitude to get over last week. Do I think he's going to win? Absolutely not. Would I bet him outright? Absolutely not. But top 10 at plus 330, top 20 at plus 130, you betcha. This guy will be up there again. He's playing some good golf. He just, gets a little nervous and blocks irons on 16 and 17. Happens to the best of us. And then I want to get to Jacob Bridgman. This is a Sia Nejad favorite, top 20 at plus 162. Listen, Sia, he's 5 for 5 in the top 18 this season. What am I missing? Yeah. He was top 15 here last year.
I was just going to add that. We have, who was it? Ski Mask Boy. Bridgman is numb out there. I think that's actually a good way to put it. I feel like Bridgman is just playing golf, and the moment's not really scaring him. And in this field, I think top 20 is very realistic.
Coming up next, we will celebrate the no bet list. Is there a lot of interesting names on that this week? We'll see who is about to get the next X through their name, and what is Jason Sobel doing that I alluded to earlier in the show that's actually genius. Find out next after we hear from one of our sponsors.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.
Thea just put it in the chat. Mike Miller put it in the chat earlier. Please smash the like. You're watching us on YouTube. Get that like button. Let's get it. I want at least a few hundred. Let's get to 250 likes this week, if not more. That's kind of our goal. Let's try it again. All right, let's pull up the no bet list, Matt. Let's see what we got here. Yep. Tell you what, we were in a little bit of danger to have that third X in 7 events last week, but fortunately, Shane Lowry did what Shane Lowry does. I mean, there's some
Needed
names
that
on here,
one.
guys.
We needed that one for the over.
It would have evened out the graphic a little bit. But hey, here we are this week. We've got Jordan Spieth plays well here. Alex Noren, who never wins, but I mean, people like him. Corey Connors plays well here. Russell Henley won here last year. Matsuyama, maybe. No, not Cantlay. We all know better on Cantlay. Patrick, who's the biggest danger on this list?
Who's playing some like really good golf on this list is Akshay.
Yeah.
So kind of curious about him. I know he was in the mix last year at the Players Championship too. Just someone who's obviously not the biggest name on this list, but someone to keep an eye on, I think.
I think so too, especially where he goes to San Antonio the other in a few weeks where he dominated. He and Denny McCarthy put on a show a couple years ago. So I'm a little concerned about that. Matt Fitzpatrick is another one. Yep, Michael Scott in the chat. Yeah, Fitzpatrick's probably the one I'm most afraid of, even more so than the defending champion, Russell Henley. Go ahead, Sobel.
I'm going to get into him later, and I don't think he wins because he never wins, but Keith Mitchell's starting to play some good golf again. I get sucked in every time he has a top 10. And I'm like, oh, Keith Mitchell, it's his year. He's going to win. No. I think he wins something fairly soon.
If you can't win that tournament last week, you're not winning anything with a better field than that. You aren't. And so Shane Lowry, we're not worried about him the rest of the year. And Keith Mitchell, we're not worried about him the rest of the year.
If you get Keith Mitchell, DC, that would be glorious.
Yeah, but see, Patrick, last year I got Cam Young'd and Tommy Fleetwooded, and that's tough to come back. That was a pretty tough one to swallow. All right, Sobel, we're going to start with you here. You're doing something that we haven't done on this show, I believe, since I gave it out in the Tour Championship, a 5-unit play on Scotty Scheffler that did not work out. Fortunately, you're a lot smarter than that, and you're going to pick him, I think, a 1-unit play, maybe less than that this week.
No, maybe a lot more than that.
Okay.
Years, if you're into that kind of thing, he's won the API. I think he's got something to prove to himself. I think he wants to show us that he's the same old Scotty Scheffler, and really tough golf course. The tough get going on these kind of courses, and Scotty Scheffler loves this place. I for those who are new to the show, if you don't know me, I don't like eating the chalk. I never take the favorites. I love Scotty Scheffler this week, and then in the non-Scotty market, Harris English, Robert McIntyre both make a lot of sense to me. I'm looking at the guys who have played well at major championships over the last few years. Harris had a couple of top runner-up finishes at majors last year. McIntyre, of course, was second at the U.S. Open to J.J. Spawn at Oakmont. That's what I'm targeting.
Yeah, I'm a big Bob McIntyre fan. We'll talk more about him here shortly. But Patrick, a couple of guys that, don't win all that often, but are consistently good, except for Xander this year. Tommy Fleetwood Xander, interesting outright card this week.
Yeah, you might get Fleetwooded again this week. EC, guy's playing awesome golf.
He is.
And I don't think he's finished outside the top 10 in the U.S. since last year's U.S. Open. I could be wrong on that, but do not fact check me, please. And he kind of just he looks like a guy who would wear that red cardigan well. And everyone's talking about his apparel. So I think there's something little osmosis there too. So I like Tommy Fleetwood at 20-1. And then I can't quit him. Can't quit him.
No, you can't.
Someone call the number for me, please. I need help. I'm putting myself in. Xander Schauffele, 25-1. I was kind of down in the dumps after the Phoenix Open. Then he comes back, T19 at Pebble, percolated. And then he started to really bubble there at the Genesis Invitational with that T7. So I know he doesn't have a good history here, but he's hitting it a mile. I like that there are not a ton of wedge opportunities for him because that's where he's kind of been struggling. And the putter's really turned around, which I love. And he's putted these greens great. I love when he's on very fast greens. So Xander at 25. I couldn't pass it up.
I know you couldn't. You can't help yourself. Every week my storyline's going to be
first thing I click.
For every storyline, just recycled. Is this the week Patrick doesn't pick Xander?
What's his player's number?
What's that? I don't know. Actually, probably somewhat similar to that. Sia, you're picking a couple of guys on the no bet list, but they have an exemption because you have them in the without Scotty market.
Yeah, and it's funny you brought up the players, Patrick, because First of all, these two numbers in the without Scotty market got attacked on Monday, Tuesday. They used to be Fitzpatrick in the without Scotty market was, I believe, plus 2250, and Colin Morikawa in the without Scotty market was, this is as of yesterday afternoon, was plus 2600. So these numbers have moved pretty considerably. I've talked about these guys at length. I talked about how they set up well, how their history is good, how they're coming in with really good form. I don't think I need to really expound upon that. I don't want to deal with Scotty Scheffler. And when I look at the top of the board, there are guys like Tommy Fleetwood that I like. There are guys like Rory McIlroy that I think can win, and some outliers like Harris English and Bobby Mack. But I mean, I really think Fitzpatrick and Colin Morikawa, all things considered, are in the top 5, even including Scotty, are in the top 5 from a win equity standpoint. That's just me saying that. I'm not running a model saying that, but I think the model would probably suggest the same. So I like these two in the without market.
And I am going with, this is the without Scotty and Rory market. I found this on Fanatics, and I'm getting a better number on Bob McIntyre than Sobel is, and I don't have to worry about Rory either. This to me, I think it could be a duel, as you guys talked about in storylines. But I think Bobby Mack, it might be up for the challenge. He's gained off the tee in his last 9 regular field events, excluding the Hero World Challenge in a 20-player field. He's gained at least 3.5 strokes putting in 4 of his last 6. And he was T11 here last year, gained off the tee and on approach. That red-hot putting continues. I think Bobby Mack's going to be very interesting this week. I'm going, this number is interesting on Nikolai Højgaard. It was 45-1 yesterday when I bet it. He's 0 for 2 here. I think so Patrick, you talked about that. I think you had him in the last one. But he has 3 top 6s in his last 4 events. His putting, his approach game, his off-the-tee game have been great. He made the cut on the number last week and gave it a real run on Sunday. Got me a little excited when he was 7 under through 11, and he couldn't make a 5-foot birdie putt on 12, and things went a little downhill. But shot 66-65 in the weekend, finished T6 at the Cognizant. He has plenty of momentum. Take a shot here in the without market. And then the most tipped player that I alluded to earlier is Sepp Straka, which really kind of surprises me. Yeah. He missed the cut here, 2020 through 2023, had a T57 2 years ago, and it was T5 last year. I gained 4 on approach and 6 putting last year. And excluding Riviera, where he rarely plays well, Straka has gained nearly 19 strokes tee to green on the field in his other 3 events this season. I'm shocked that he's the most tipped player at 45-1 in this without market, but I think there is an interesting number on him, so we'll take a shot there and give it a whirl. Matt, do we want to go to the outrights for Puerto Rico? Can we do that one next? Kind of change it up a little bit. I know, Patrick, you and I are sitting this one out. Sobel and Sia, you're going to give Puerto Rico a shot. Sobel, we'll start with a couple of names from you.
I thought Ricky Castillo was fantastic last week. I felt like every time I looked up at the screen, he was making another birdie. They're stuffing one in close or rolling in a nice birdie putt. So this kid that's won at every level. He was really good in college. He won in his first Korn Ferry start 3 years ago, and now he's starting to show it on the PGA Tour. I know the number's getting shorter by the minute, but I still like playing Castillo this week. I think he's got that kind of win equity. And then Sia mentioned it, and he's going to mention it again, ADDC. This is there's the golf course in Puerto Rico, because we're like, all right, let's just find guys that are decent and guys that can win. But this is a place that's 7,500 yards, and you look at the winners list, it's guys that don't do anything else anywhere else, like Martin Traynor years ago, who just hit it as far as they possibly can, go find it and hit it again. Dumont de Deschart, he hits it a long way. He's top 15 on the PGA Tour in driving distance. Give me the offensive firepower this week.
Sia, a 5-pack. And I mean, you crushed this event last year. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, so first of all, I hate these numbers. Again, if you're in the SportsLine Discord, you follow me on Twitter, or if you just watch the early edge on Monday at 10 o'clock, I'm starting to give out outrights there too, because I know some of these numbers are going to change. The Brennan number is 25-1, was 33. The Marty Dow number was 37. It's now 32. The ADDC number was, I'm pretty sure it was closer to like 45. Now it's 33. Matty Schmid was 49. Now it's 40. And Lebiota's just always been 100 or longer. But again, like I'm giving these names out because these are the guys I took, but I cannot emphasize it enough, especially for these alt events or non-signature events. There's value in getting to some of these guys early. So I don't love these numbers, but I do love these players. A few of these guys hit it a long way, particularly Brennan, Marty Dow, and ADDC. Marty Dow and ADDC have been playing really well lately. Matty Schmid's been playing really well lately. Doesn't hit it quite as far as the first three. But distance is huge here. Opportunities gained, things like that. That's what I'm looking for. And these guys check all the boxes. Lebiota is kind of like a old school favorite golfer of mine from years back. So I just kind of threw him in. That's like, you're putting a couple bucks on that. If that, it's the first four that I really like here.
If you don't like some of those numbers, I do know a way for you to inflate those a little bit. We have a full tennis slate from Indian Wells, kind of like the fifth major tomorrow.
I got family going out there, you see.
Do you? Oh, very good. All right. Unfortunately, I just saw that my girl McNally, who cost me $3,000 with the Nico win, she withdrew, or her match is not going to take place. So hold off on that. But there's probably like 40 other matches you can play tomorrow. So have a little bit of fun and parlay that with some of these numbers, with some of these guys to give yourself a sweat. Get 100 to 1 on some of these. All right, let's see what we have for long shots. And we're going to start with Patrick because he just can't help himself at 70 to 1. His boy, Ricky Fowler.
Ricky Fowler said everything I needed to say about him. First couple months of the year, top 10 in putting, 15th overall in total strokes gained. Approach play looks good. He's in the top half of this field, top quarter of this field, actually, in both the driving distance and driving accuracy. What's not to like? It's Ricky Fowler. And Jason just said he put a hybrid in the bag. You kidding me? You're gonna bet against Ricky Fowler with a hybrid in the bag?
Yep.
I'm certainly not. I am certainly not. So I'm taking Fowler at 70 to 1.
Now, Sobel, I want to give you a lot of credit because a couple weeks ago you named this crazy parlays that you do. You named Casey Jarvis, who's now won consecutive weeks on the DP World Tour in Africa. I'd never heard of Casey Jarvis. Guy is a player, won by 3 strokes last week in South Africa in his National Open. So it's pretty cool to see. So you got something there, and I give us your outright parlay / round robin this week.
Yeah, in last week's parlay, I had Henny Duplessis, who finished runner-up to Jarvis. Yeah. I'm putting him back in there this week on the DP World Tour, and he's in Joburg this week, hometown guy. And then I'm going with Scheffler, of course, at the API. I will take the favorite, Rasmus Højgaard. Like I said, just based on those solo numbers I gave earlier, I like Castillo, I like ADDC, but Højgaard is the best player in that field. So for the parlay / round robin, I'll take him here. Duplessis and Mimi Rhodes. Watch out for Mimi Rhodes.
Never heard of
not
her.
A great field this week. I like her a lot. All it is 21,000 to 1, guys. No big deal.
Yeah, I mean it's easy money here. I've never heard of Mimi Rhodes. Every week you put somebody in here that I've never heard of. So I mean she's probably due to win. And then you're talking Keith Mitchell. You want to say anything more about your boy Keith in the without Scotty market?
Yeah, I'd take him without Scotty, without a few other players, and you might have a chance. He just doesn't win.
Maybe the top 15 guys take him without. Sia. You're going back to one of your guys here at 54 to 1. The guy I referenced him earlier, Bridgman.
Yeah, I couldn't help it. I mean, you did reference me making a lot of money on Bridgman, which I did last year actually. But don't forget, I didn't have the one time this year I did not have him when he played was when he actually won at 100 to 1. So this is a bit of FOMO. This is just a sprinkle play at 54 to 1 in the without Scotty Scheffler market. But we talked about it earlier, and I think somebody in the chat mentioned it. Like Jacob Bridgman's just continuing to ascend. If he can keep it in the fairway off the tee, we know the approach play. We know the long iron play. This is why I liked him last year. The long iron play, like those types of courses, getting hot with the putter, that's what Jacob Bridgman does. So if the ball striking stays the same, he can absolutely get hot and potentially maybe win, but more likely, come in second place behind King Scotty. So I like that. And then here's a parlay. It's a top 30, top 20 parlay. The top 30 guys are Daniel Berger, who hasn't been good, but the approach play was really good last week. We know he typically likes Bermuda, has very good history here. Probably not playing him anywhere else. Probably not even playing him in DFS. I might. But Daniel Berger, top 30. Jacob Bridgman, top 30. Harris English, top 30. Plus 3 top 20s. Colin Morikawa, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Tommy Fleetwood. That's 50 to 1. If you want to use the boost at certain sites, you get it to 60 to 1.
I like it. I like that. I know that some people like to fade me at times. Okay, that's fine. I respect it. So here you go. This is the no bet list top 20 parlay. 6 players who are on my no bet list, the 14 player no bet list: Morikawa, Henley, Matt Fitzpatrick, Justin Rose, Shane Lowry, and Jordan Spieth. Top 20s with ties, 120 to 1. And if you use the boost, you can get it at 150 to 1 on Fanatics. 150 to 1 if you use your boost today.
I like
you want
that.
to fade me? Not bad, right? Okay.
I ain't fading that.
Since nobody's, some people might, but all right, here we go. Top 10 parlay on Live. All right, so Tom McKibben stuck in the Middle East. That's kind of a problem. Peter Uihlein has third place finishes in both Live events this season. McKibben was T6 here last year, won the Asian Tour event at this golf course in November. Lucas Herbert was T15 and 4th here, 2 top 10s in Live events this season, and Abe Answer, who won this event in 2024. So McKibben, Uihlein, Herbert, and Answer at nearly 58 to 1. If you want some Live action, you can play it. I guess it starts earlier, starts Wednesday night, I believe, since it's in Hong Kong. Assuming that all the players get there, including McKibben, I'm rolling with that at 58 to 1. I got to hit one of these this year and make a little bit of money. All right, it is time to bring in our friend Josh. It is OAD time. You guys asked for this in the SportsLine Discord. So let's see. Look at Josh. 70th overall. Congrats to Mike Bittenbender, who's in first place, crushing us. Sia, you're 100th. Patrick, 362nd. I'm tied for 464th, and Sobel is 610. So let's see what we have here. Josh, welcome aboard. 70th. Well done.
What's up, fellas? Thank you. Off to a swimming start. Ryan Gerard, he kind of tugged Sia and I along for the first couple of days. We were texting, like he's hitting it really well, and it just never came around. But in a nice spot so far.
All right, let's see what we have this week. What is Josh going to do to protect his lead? I will let him go first. Josh, do tell, who are you going with?
Tommy Ladd.
Yeah.
Tommy Fleetwood. Really came down to either him or Matt Fitzpatrick for me this week. I just think it makes a lot of sense. I think it's a kind of the next step up in terms of the type of golf tournament that Tommy will win on the PGA Tour. I kind of decided that I would bet Matt Fitzpatrick to win a major this year before Tommy, which is why I kept him in the holster for now. But playing some great golf, it hasn't even been like the sharpest, and he's gone T4, T7, and back to signature events. Ride with Tommy, and if he plays like he has been, he'll probably finish, top 7. And if he's just a touch sharper and has 4 good days with the approach play, which has kind of been the bugaboo the last couple of events, he's had a day where the approach hasn't been great. But if I get 4 rounds of good approach play from Tommy Ladd, I like where I sit.
Sia, Colin Morikawa. I mean, good course history here. Won a few weeks ago at Pebble Beach.
First of all, I can't wait until we get to Patrick's pick because, like, what are we doing? Like, I feel like this is a setup because now 2 months from now, when we're like, oh, Patrick's in last place or whatever, he's going to be like, yeah, but I wasn't taking it seriously. Remember that time I took Ricky Fowler to win the API? So I kind of see what's going on here. I love Colin Morikawa this week, not just to win, but I like him from a one and done standpoint because we talked about how popular Matt Fitzpatrick is going to be for one and done. We know that there's a huge purse, so people are going to use Scotty Scheffler, maybe Rory McIlroy. We know there's very good reason to like Tommy Fleetwood, and people generally don't want to take a guy, especially a guy named Colin Morikawa, but a guy who just won a tournament, a big tournament. So I feel like I'm in a really good spot to like launch myself forward if I actually hit Colin Morikawa. I don't think this is a contrarian play per se, but I don't think enough people are going to be on Colin Morikawa versus the other names I just said. So again, I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know if he's going to win the tournament or top 3, but I just love the position I'm in to take Colin while everybody else is just kind of intrigued by other names.
Patrick, fighting words from Sia.
It's okay. I totally understand them, but the one rule in life I live by is, use Ricky Fowler in one and done when he puts a hybrid in his golf bag. So.
and has a hat, the king. He's gonna
King, exactly.
some sick apparel coming from Ricky this week.
Yes, heavy the crown. So I'm going with Ricky to be my one and done selection. Truthfully, people in the chat are saying Sobel's panicking. I'm kind of panicking a little bit.
No.
Getting a T12 out of Scotty Scheffler at the Genesis. So
yeah, you're cooked.
Exactly. Unless Ricky Fowler wins this week, then I'm back.
Yes, then you're back.
Exactly.
Yeah. When he's 0.1% owned. Potrick might be the only one in the pool.
Only guy. Yeah, none of you out there use Ricky Fowler. If you do, I swear to God, I will find it.
I'm going with Bobby Mack. I'm all in there. It was either Scotty or Bobby Mack. I can't fault Sobel here. I think Scotty next week at the Players is probably where I'm leaning, but Scotty has won here in 22 and 24. If you're going to play the even year thing, prop stars would hate me for doing this pointless history and trends that make no sense. But yes, that's one with Scotty Scheffler, so I totally get it. But Bobby Mack's my pick here. All right, Sobel, desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah, they're damn right. I'm panicking. I'm doubled up by EC right now. I'm not looking to win this thing. I'm just looking to catch EC and get past them, and nobody better to do that than Scotty Scheffler to help me out.
All right, Josh, I got to ask
what
you.
What place are you in? Sorry,
I am in 400 and something, which is 464th, which is below the top half. So I have some work to do.
Cohen line,
yeah. We got problems.
Top 25%, right?
Yeah, I got to finish the top 20. Otherwise, you guys are editing my dating profile live on. That's gonna be tough. Yeah,
Pumped for that.
You each get to write a prompt. You get to write a prompt on my dating profile. So get ready for that. Josh, I want to ask you. We were talking about Shane Lowry earlier in the show. Would you ever bet Shane Lowry to win after what you saw the other day? Ever again?
Yeah, probably. Not for a while, but yeah, probably. Do I get the entire world? If I get the entire world, absolutely. PGA Tour.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, but if I get the DP World Tour as well, then yeah, probably.
I want to ask you each about one golfer and just give me your thoughts on him. Sobel, I'll start with you. Jake Knapp has been red hot. Jake Knapp his outright odds are 38-1. Would you invest or stay away?
I'm staying away just because I like other guys better, but man, the ball striking matches up to this golf course. He could certainly play well.
Patrick, I can't believe I'm looking at these odds. There's a guy at 49-1 here at the odds that I'm looking at. Justin Rose is one of them. Ricky Fowler is one of them. And the third guy at 49-1 is Adam Scott, who I know is one of your favorites. What do you think?
Adam Scott, yeah, in the field. Wish he was in the field last week, obviously, but I'm interested about his driver and some of those numbers. There's been some chatter around that, but he's been pushing it out there. Like I think he was like 20 yards past Cam Young and TGL. Take that for a grain of salt, obviously, but you get the numbers there, like pushing 190 in ball speed. So curious if there's like a new one that's needed to put in the bag or whatever here shortly. But
very, very, very small piece of intel. I saw Scotty coming off 9 today. Said, "Hey man, how's the course playing?" And he heard me wrong. He said, "Oh, I'm playing well, thanks." And he walked away. And so there you go. Adam Scott thinks he's playing well, even though that's not the question that I asked him.
I thought you were talking to Scotty Scheffler. You hate
that's
Scotty.
What I thought.
I was like, wait a second. Yeah, okay. Well, fair enough. All right, Sia, I'm giving you a layup here. The highest player in the odds that we have not discussed at all on the show is Patrick Cantlay. I mean, I have a lot to say, but go ahead. What do you have to say?
Okay, first of all, I think he's a great course fit. And this would be if you guys are if we're gonna talk about how golf is so golf, Patrick Cantlay contends and maybe wins on Sunday. Like what's his, to be honest with you, he wasn't on my radar because the stats didn't speak to me. Do we recall what his history here is at the API? Can't be that good.
He almost won, everyone almost won that Kitayama year. 12 players almost won. I think he was one of them.
He was fourth he was fourth in 2023. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, T31, T36 over his last two. I think honestly, Patrick Cantlay would be a guy for me to consider in DFS because I just don't think anybody's going to be super interested. Not interested in betting him on the actual betting board though.
All right, Josh, last one for you. Give me a long shot. Any golfer that would be a surprise that you could see making a run at it this weekend. Anyone that comes to your mind.
We'll get to Ricky Fowler in just a second, but Pearson Coody, I'm not sure if that counts as a long shot, but surprising, I think would be fair, but he has the ball striking acumen to win at this golf course. I don't know if he will. What Pearson Coody is like down the stretch of a PGA Tour event trying to win, I don't know yet, but that guy hits the golf ball well enough to win at a golf course like this.
T14 in 2023 gained significantly off the tee, around the green, and with the putter. He actually lost on approach and still managed T14. The way the approach game is clicking, if everything else happens to be there this time around, I mean, Coody's an interesting name.
And Ricky Fowler, 10 straight events gaining across the board. Overall total strokes gained. He's 12th in this field in total strokes gained over the last 36 rounds. If his name was anything else, we wouldn't. My guy Patty Ice here, not nearly as much
music to my
flack
ears.
As
music to my ears.
And it wouldn't even have to be a good name. Like, it could be like Ryan Gerard. No, all due respect to Ryan Gerard, but it wouldn't even have to be like Rory McIlroy. It could be somebody like that, and you'd be like, yeah, good pick. So when Ricky wins on Sunday, nobody else is allowed to, Patrick like just solo shot the whole show. You guys just voices in the background.
If he wins, you got to clip what I said about Patrick's one and done pick.
All of you guys,
because that would be kind of embarrassing for me.
All right, last rapid fire. Going to start with you, Sobel. Your first click for the players next week.
Haven't quite gotten there yet. Colin Morikawa. I'm going to change that.
That's right. No, this is just your first. All right, Patrick, you go.
Okay, I'm looking right now. Xander Schauffele 25-1 plus EV.
You had to look to find Xander.
I would say Akshay Bhatia 70-1. I don't mind that.
All right. Josh.
Matt Fitzpatrick 46-1.
Sia, you talked about this in the SportsLine Discord, and the reason that I saved this for last.
Yeah.
Do tell.
So my friend, I got to give my friend Kenny credit. He does a lot of golf capping. Kill Kenny, I think, is his handle. He was responding to a tweet that I made, and he said, "Oh, by the way," it was a golf related tweet. He said, "Oh, by the way, Brooks Koepka over at DK is 100-1 to win the Players." Now, I understand Brooks Koepka hasn't done well at the Players. He's still kind of fighting his way back to Brooks Koepka form, but 100-1 is kind of silly. So I took that, I quote tweeted it, and I said, "Hey," and I went into the SportsLine Discord. Within 5 to 15 minutes, that number went from 100-1 to 66-1 at DK, and then went from 66 to now what is like 53 or 55. I actually got it at 100-1. I think that was a ridiculous number.
It really was, and it's gone down in half. So great call there. And mine would be Tommy Fleetwood. I hate the number at 18-1, but this is why we parlay. Guys, great show as always. Thank you guys in the chat. You guys kill it. We read all of your comments. We got to some of them. Always appreciate it. Keep up the great work. We're glad to have you guys here. I also want to give a shout out. My buddy Ross in the UK watches us every week, and big early Wedge fan, living out, I believe, in the London area. So appreciate you watching the show, and just wanted to give a shout out to Ross there. So
thank you,
Josh,
Ross.
Thanks for making an appearance.
We love you, Ross.
Ross,
there you go, Ross. Just for you. All right, Josh, thanks for joining the show. Producer Matt filling in for Josh. Appreciate it. For Sia, Patrick, and Sobel, I'm EC. And as I always like to say, let's hit it big. Good luck.